I feel more confident today than at any point that the Indiana Fever have a real chance at winning the championship, winning the WNBA title.
That's the thing. And I understand college is college, pros is pros. But at the end of the day, these two players, you can hate a player from college and you can still hate them in the pros.
JC Sheldon just made Caitlin Clark snap, and it was personal. Picture this. Clark takes a shot to the eye, her head snaps back, and chaos erupts. But when the refs hand Clark a technical foul for defending herself, fans were stunned. Wait until you see what led to this controversial moment and why it's sparking a league-wide debate about physicality versus outright aggression in the WNBA. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine this. Caitlin Clark drives into the lane, her focus locked on the basket, but out of nowhere, JC Sheldon's hand connects with her face. Clark's head reels back, her hand immediately covering her eye as she steps away, blinking hard to stay in the game.
JC Sheldon and the Ohio State Buckeyes were a team that were huge rivals with Iowa. JC Sheldon was Caitlin Clark's matchup, and there was a hatred between those teams.
And it's primarily because of Sophie Cunningham. She's exactly what the Indiana Fever needed.
The crowd gasps. This wasn't just a graze. It was an eye poke that left her momentarily stunned. And then, just when you think the refs might step in to handle the situation, the whistle blows. Against Clark, a technical foul. She's called for her reaction, and the entire arena loses it. Boos rain down. Clark throws up her arms in disbelief, and even on the bench, you can see teammates shaking their heads. How does a player get poked in the eye and somehow end up the one in trouble? The chaos didn't stop there. Marina Mabrey, outraged by what she saw, wasn't content to sit quietly and let Sheldon skate by. She stepped onto the court during the pause, physically squaring up to Sheldon with a shove that screamed, "I've had enough!" The reaction was instant. Sheldon took a step back, glaring, but the refs weren't about to let this slide either.
She did to Sheldon last night. Not sure if it was necessary. Not sure if it was in total retaliation for what happened to Caitlin Clark earlier in the game. But it's exactly what they need.
Like, there's nobody that quite brings out the demon like JC Sheldon. Hence why Caitlin Clark has set her career high on JC Sheldon. Caitlin Clark has set the all-time assist record on JC Sheldon's head.
In less than a minute, the situation went from tense to volatile, and Mabrey was tossed from the game with an ejection. Fans were on their feet, some cheering the drama, others shaking their heads at how quickly things had spiraled out of control. Meanwhile, Sheldon barely acknowledged the commotion as she retreated toward her bench, refusing to make eye contact with anyone.
Every time they comment, I make dollars. And I mean, I don't think she's wrong. Like, that is probably the best way to respond.
And as she was reeling from that, Marina Mabrey came in with the Kennedy Carter body slam heard around the world.
Moments like this aren't just random outbursts. They're part of a growing problem in the WNBA. According to recent data, the 2023 season has seen an increase in controversial calls, with 15 major officiating disputes making headlines. The inconsistency is what angers fans the most. This wasn't the first time a questionable call left players and fans fuming, but the physicality here highlighted something deeper. Who decides when competitiveness crosses into recklessness? And for Sheldon, this wasn't her first time blending aggression with her playing style. Her reputation kept the tension alive. But here's the thing. You need to know where this started. It didn't begin today.
Caitlin Clark is facing her #1 rival in the Sun. And the amount of people like, you're just making up rivalries. No. Caitlin Clark and JC Sheldon. There is a legitimate hatred there.
Clark needed. She is the energy button. She is the toughness. She is the enforcer that the Indiana Fever desperately needed.
This isn't just about a single game or even that eye poke. Caitlin Clark and JC Sheldon's rivalry has been brewing for years, and it cuts deeper than their latest WNBA matchup. Back in college, these two weren't just opponents. They were like gasoline and fire on the court. Clark was the undeniable superstar at Iowa, but Sheldon, over at Ohio State, made it her personal mission to knock her off that pedestal. It wasn't just about playing defense. It was about getting under Clark's skin. Sheldon was known for her relentless trash talk, bumping Clark during screens, even issuing those little intentional accidents that left Clark glaring at refs more than once. Every matchup between Iowa and Ohio State felt like a battle for control, and Sheldon thrived by pushing boundaries.
These little angry black women, and this is a group of little white girls on the Connecticut Sun, she's not scared of any of them. And so she snatched Jay Sheldon by the back of her hair to let the entire league know.
Jumped on top of Caitlin Clark, kind of grabbed her, and Caitlin Clark kind of swung back at her. Like, these two players have had battles, and nobody can bring out the demon in Caitlin Clark. Like,
Fast forward to the WNBA, and nothing about their dynamic has softened. In their first pro clash on May 30th, what should have just been a regular season game, Sheldon's aggressive style hit a dangerous level. Sophie Cunningham ended up sidelined with a twisted ankle after Sheldon's reckless closeout, and Sydney Colson, she had to get a chipped tooth checked after colliding with Sheldon during a drive. The Fever bench was fuming, with players visibly frustrated at the lack of calls coming from the officials. And Clark, she wasn't just watching this unfold as a teammate.
Slammed into the side of Caitlin Clark and sent her viciously flying to the floor. Now, of course, many of you were like, can we ban her?
the best way to respond is by just laughing about it. Laughing about it, like pretending that it doesn't bother you, and I don't think this bothers Marina Mabrey.
She had history with Sheldon, and every incident felt like deja vu from their college days. But this time, it wasn't just about Clark. Her teammates were paying the price for Sheldon's excessive physicality. The officiating didn't help. The lack of fouls called in that game only stoked the fire between these two teams. Critics argue that rivalries like Clark versus Sheldon can elevate the intensity of a game, making it more exciting for fans. But when the refs fail to rein in dangerous behavior, the line between competitiveness and outright chaos starts to blur. For Clark, though, this hasn't just added heat to the games.
Sophie Cunningham, 6'6", prettiest girl in the WNBA, but also probably the most fearless girl in the WNBA, and a tone setter.
Caitlin Clark has then did what she did, and she had the most impressive 20-6 game I've ever seen, because she must have had about 7 hockey assists as well.
It's reshaped her approach. Every shove, foul, and trash-talking exchange fuels her drive to dominate harder. The WNBA prides itself on being a physical league, describing that toughness as the heart of the W. But when that physicality leads to injuries, like Sophie Cunningham's twisted ankle or Sydney Colson's chipped tooth, it's clear there's a problem. And what about Clark? Penalized for reacting to an eye poke? It's not just frustrating, it's unfair. The uneven officiating sparks questions. When does physicality stop being competitive and start being reckless?
Send the rest of the league a message. The WNBA missed an opportunity to take that. By the way, referees completely bleeped that whole thing up. I mean, they effed it up.
She got her fine, and I wonder if, like, Marina Mabrey will make more money. She's infamous as well. Like, I talked about this in my Sophie Cunningham video earlier. Like, these players are infamous.
Fans, players, and officials need to push for change. As Caitlin Clark continues to dominate, the league faces a choice: protect its stars, or let these moments of chaos define the game.